The DNA test report is in. Child, you are the alleged father. It says the interpretation, the probability of paternity for this child.
Are you for real?
I'm dead serious.
You're kidding me.
Oh my God.
What up, good people? Welcome to another installment of Righteous and Ratchet. I am your boy, DoBoy.
And I am Kev on stage. Righteous and Ratchet, the top 200.
The top 200.
Of all Apple podcasts.
Of all, and not just a certain. You already know. And
make sure you go and rate us on Apple. 5 stars, please. Or don't rate us at all. If you are a hater, go to the mall. See the people in the middle. Buy some haterade.
Hey.
Drink it and get out the way, cause we top 200. We top 200. We top 200. We both pushing 200.
that was kind of great. Got a little bars there.
All right, here we go.
And on Righteous and Ratchet, we got to let them know what we do here. Righteous and Ratchet is me and my good brother Kev on stage. And we are not a typical podcast. We talk about what's going on in pop culture. We talk about what's going on in our personal lives. We talk about a little bit of everything. We don't follow no rules.
No rules, no format. DoBoy and I do this podcast because I ain't got no job and I got a reason to see him.
You're going to have to explain that too. I look at the comments and everybody wants to know why you don't work at All Def. So you might want to
I'll give you the quick.
Give them the quick
rundown. I love All Def and the people there. They're very important to me in my life and my career. But I realized I only had time in my life for 3 things. I could work full time at All Def. I could be a great family man. I could go on tour. I chose the family and the tour. I couldn't do all 3 of those well. And I just felt like it was time to bet on me.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
And you did that, and you're doing very well. So there you go. Because everybody's like, wait, Kevin, that's what they've been saying.
and that's how they said it.
That's exactly how they said it. A lot of people have, when they see me, because I just be all iced out, the normal question they always ask is, yo, man, how much he spent on the wrist? And when
hold on, though. Let me...
you can put those on. You know when I pull the watch up.
Oh, man.
I don't even go to the gym no more. I just lift my arm up because ice, you feel me?
That's why one of your arms is stronger than the other.
Ice aesthetics.
And the neck, I don't know how you keep it on.
Even the dancing. So most time people ask about the watch, and if you got questions, 300,000 on the watch.
Okay. What's on the neck, by the way?
271,000.
Oh, and the grill?
100,000. That's a new
That's
joint.
600.
On it. And I don't even want to get the glasses. It's disgusting.
Come on, man.
But we ain't gonna do all that. You know what I'm saying? But okay. But what people have been asking about on the last episode was something on the other list. The last 2 episodes. And I know y'all seen it. Some of y'all thought it was an off-white campaign from Nike. It was not. It was a hospital bracelet. And I'm going to tell the story. But before I get into the story, I want us to give a quick disclaimer because as much as we joke around and we have jokes, this is a rather serious topic. So
yes,
you guys had been asking about it. To know me, to love me is to know what I'm about. I'm a very open book. So I'm open about a lot of things. So this is a chance for me to tell my testimony and give God the glory. So I don't want y'all to think we making jokes. And I mean, of course, we're going to have our fun with it, but serious topic, serious thing. So
serious topic, serious thing. And DoBoy is going to tell the story. And
I'm going to tell the story.
Listen.
How
I've been knowing what's been happening.
Over.
You're going to explain why you have a hospital bracelet on, and then we're going to get to
the
we're
going to get to nitty-gritty
matter, and then we're going to talk about life choices and decisions.
And you better speak a word because what I noticed in the last episode. Episode 2 when we were talking about Pastor John Gray, boy, you're having an anointing over your life, boy.
Come on, man, don't talk about
the way you speak about the boy, you're anointed from God.
I'm running to Tarshish.
I don't need
that's Jonah.
Okay. Somebody was in the comments said DoBoy was about to speak in tongues. I was like, when I was young, I used to always want to speak in tongues, and I thought I wasn't holy enough because it never happened.
Really?
I did. I used to be like,
you
why
speak in tongues when you lick spaghetti?
Delicious.
You don't even have to do that.
All right, so let's get into the story.
All right.
And I thought about how I want to talk about this, just because I don't want to just go straight into it. So I think we should give him the whole
how did
juxtaposition.
We get
here? All right, so start it up. All right, so the quick story about this, and I want you to chime in wherever you feel necessary. The quick story about my backdrop in life, crazy childhood, whatever. We won't get into all that. That's not important. Okay. But moving forward to it, when I met Kevin a couple years ago, about 2015. We started, rocking together. I had become a very a functioning alcoholic.
Yes.
As of today, I'm about 388 days sober. So praise God for that.
Clap it up for new nickname alert, Dobriety.
Dobriety, you know what that is. So I'm very transparent about my sobriety because silence is what kills people with that disease that I have.
Yes.
And so I used to spend a lot of time drinking and doing it in solitude by myself.
Right.
And I was always dealing with things from my past and a traumatic family history, to say the least. So, and even there would be times where, because Kev has always had my back. I remember one time I was drinking crazy and Kev had to put me in an Uber so I didn't get fired.
You were listen, you are my brother. Let me tell you, man, you're my brother. I don't know why I did. If you never had me as my brother, you love me. Don't you love me? I love you. Bro, for the,
it was the whole ride.
I was like,
shut up.
The Uber driver was in the thing like, I'm sorry, man. The only thing worse than being drunk is being sober next to someone who's drunk. Because they're like, you're not as funny as you think you are.
It's not hitting.
You're talking louder than
you're repeating yourself.
You're repeating yourself.
You're overly emotional. That's the crazy thing, because as far as drunk, as much of an alcoholic, a recovering alcoholic as I am, drunk people now, I'll just be like, will you shut up?
Remember when we were in Vegas?
Yes. We went to Vegas. I went to Vegas for the first time a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And I didn't drink. And of course I didn't drink. And I was just around just nothing but drunk people. I was like, this was just a bunch of me's. This is how I used to be.
And I was looking at them like, though, this was like to be your friend. Actually, that was the only time I saw you drunk. The Uber.
The Uber time.
Actually, there was another time. A couple times. Hennessy shoot. I just want to say this one time. DoBoy was shooting a fake music video at All Def, okay?
King of the Sixes.
King of the Sixes. He wanted to be a rapper, so he wanted to have Hennessy bottles, but he didn't get Hennessy poured out and pour
coloring
apple juice in. He just was like, I'm going to be drinking this for real.
And was walking around the office with no shoes on and a bottle of Hennessy.
Drinking, and he was like, that's for the music video. I was like, first of all, no one said you had to drink it at all. And no one said it to be real Hennessy right now. It was 3 p.m. He was half of a hen bottle in.
And I was drunk coming into work. And let me correct you. You said you haven't been around me drunk before. You've absolutely been around me drunk. I just can control it. I was drunk a lot.
You were sloppy drunk though.
I was actually sloppy drunk. Right. So say all that to say, because I don't even know if you remember, but a lot of times when I would get drunk, like I would start to talk about things in my family. Yes. Like it would just all surface. So to be honest, to be very, very transparent about my addiction, it was always me trying to run from things. I didn't want to deal with situations, whether it was 20, 30 years ago. And to kind of quiet that down, I would drink, pass out, blah, blah, blah. Yes. So that all hit ahead. So, and that's why I love Kevin so much. And people always be like, yo, he's just your man. Kev, and the reason why I love Kev so much is because despite all of my flaws, Kev never judged me once. Even when I would mess up, even when I would do things where I was stupid, he would go to bat for me, and I would keep messing up. Like, we got vlogs where we'd be 11 days sober, 22 days, and every time I mess up, he'd just be like, all right, don't get back.
I have some vlogs that I couldn't even release because it was like, DoBoy's 14 days sober, but I hadn't had a chance to release it, and you relapsed. I was just like, well, we're just going to keep that in the archive.
And that's why I always got so much love for you, because it's such a dark disease and you start to not believe in yourself that you can't do it. So fast forward to last year, right before I went to rehab for the second time in 2017. Now I went to rehab earlier in May of 2017 and it got raided by the FBI.
Well, first of all, hold on. True story. DoBoy hits me like 12 days in. Yeah. I'm out. I was like, what? What are you talking about? He was like, bro, the feds raided our rehab facility. People was like running some sort of
they were doing some type of
operation,
insurance scam,
all type of stuff. So DoBoy comes out of rehab like, obviously God wants me to drink because and I was like, of all the people, and it was a legit rehab. It wasn't like a sham of a rehab place. His girl at the time like researched it, and she was like a researcher. It was 5 stars. It was like creme de la creme of a rehab place in LA. And you know LA does rehab well.
Oh yeah, that's
with the celebrities around.
That's what they do.
So when he came, I was like, state of the art facilities, and that's why they was scamming the living daylights out of the insurance company.
Absolutely. And you know what's so
when he came home, he was like, "This is my life. I was drinking."
You know that thing I thought about the other day? I had went to rehab and I was gone for 2 weeks. I had sent this long email to half of the company, drunk while I was typing it. Came back 2 weeks later, drunk the day that I came back. Like, oh man, it ain't nothing. I'm back in the mix. There's people at work taking me to go get drinks. You're not a real alcoholic. Let's go get drinks.
Oh my God, that drove me insane. Yes. You basically had a mistrial. Like you had murder dead to rights. 8 body. You got caught with the gun in your hand
on videotape.
Life in prison, and you came out of a mistrial. Came home in 2 weeks,
and right back to the bricks.
Literally the worst thing ever.
So at that point, then that's when the downhill really started.
Right.
The girl he was just talking about, this is a girl I'm thinking I was gonna marry, live happily ever after with. That was over with. She was done with it. I had to live with that. And so then we go to the day that I almost got fired, because you always hear us references. Now, the day I almost got fired, I was late to work, and it was a really, really important shoot, and it was because I had been drinking and doing a bunch of stuff all the weekend. So I come in, I missed the whole season finale of the show. Kev, I had never seen him like that before. First of all, I've never even really seen Kev mad. I've seen him not as happy at times, and sometimes I call him Angry Kev because he'll just be a little, a little snappy. But I had never seen him like this, and it really, really broke my heart because he had looked out so much for me, and I felt like I put him in such a terrible position. Like he came and he was pacing back and forth, and he kept like rubbing his legs, and like he just giving me a bunch of nervous. And I knew he was about to fire me. So at this point, I'm talking to God. I'm like, God, I love my job. ADD is tatted on my arm. Like I'm like, God, I can't lose this job.
Yeah.
It's too important to me. Please. I know he's about to fire me. Can you please stop him? I'm talking to God as you're talking.
I speak to God in public. I speak to God in public.
So I'm sitting there like, all right, and he's just talking. He was like, we've talked about this. Because he had already given me as much rope as he could give me. And they were on his head.
Yes.
And he was just like, look, like you good and everything, but I can't continue to do this. And I'm like, all right, God, he's about to fire me. I was like, I hope he's still my friend after this. I said, but God, if you give me one more chance, I'll go to rehab right now. And I kid you not, the next word that came out of Kevin's mouth was, you got one last chance. And if you don't do it, there's no more to talk about. I'm walking you downstairs to HR. They're going to give you your paperwork. Love you to death.
No 2 weeks. Please leave immediately.
Tell him what happened after you told me that.
That man went, I ain't going to hold you. Elevator, boop, second floor, HR, I'm gone. Okay, CEO, I'm out of here. Rehab set me up. Bought the ticket before it was out of the office in literally no less than 5 minutes.
Out.
Plane ticket bought in 15 minutes. Less than 24 hours later, he's in Houston, Texas.
And shout out to All Def, because All Def, my family.
Man,
I was like, look, I'm broke. I ain't got no money. Hey, I'm gonna wire some money to your account right now. Took very, very
paid for the rehab.
Paid for the rehab. Paid me while I was in rehab. So when people ask me about my loyalty,
gave you some cash to pay your rent.
I said, I just don't know how I good to pay the bills. Here's some money. We'll keep giving you a check. And the CEO, he looked at me in the face and said, don't worry about your job. We love you. Go get better. Your job will be here when you get back.
Right.
So
shout out to
that guy. Shout out to Osmond. I'll say who is. Shout out to Osmond. I love you, brother. So I go. The light finally goes off when I get to rehab, and I finally start to settle in. Like, all right, cool. Make it through the 30 days. Come home. Like, all right, we start the sobriety fight. So now I'm back home. So now this is where the story begins to take that turn. So now I'm already reeling because the woman that I'm in love with is just gone. Like I got it, and I have to accept that. And this is the thing that I want to talk about with alcoholism and addiction. It's very rarely the act of what you're doing that's the problem. A lot of times people be like, you just need to stop drinking, or you just need to stop smoking cigarettes. What I learned is you need to go into what is making you self-medicate.
Right.
So now I that's what I learned in rehab. I have to feel my feelings. I can't run. I can't go get drunk.
Because you were just basically having things in your life happen, and instead of dealing with them or going to therapy, you were like, okay, here's what I'll do. Right. I will drink, and then I won't know what's happening. I will pass out. Because you would convince yourself you couldn't sleep without alcohol. I
told myself everything.
And then when you started working out after, you were like, bro, actually, I sleep very well.
All those things. So,
but the thing that the most, and this is the thing you didn't do the first rehab, because you didn't do no inner working.
Exactly.
Yeah, alcoholism was for you was the symptom of the absence of the ability to deal with the pain in your life.
Absolutely.
And instead of dealing with the pain in your life, you were just like, all right, I don't want to feel nothing, so I'll be
suppress it.
Incoherent.
Right. So that was the thing that we were doing the whole time. So now I'm out, and I'm like, okay, I know what my triggers are. Family situations are my triggers.
Yep.
So if it's anything with family, I learned this about myself, you know what I'm saying? So I have to be honest. So now I'm just out living life. The girl of my dreams, I lost her. I'm dealing with a lot of guilt with that. So now I'm just trying to be, somewhat responsible.
Oh, yeah.
Go hang out with a young lady.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, with this young lady, and we're not going to say her name either way because, you know, we respect privacy. But it wasn't a ton of dating involved. It was, hey, you want to hang out? It wasn't not even like on no, but, you know, it wasn't a ton of build up, a ton of getting to know each other. It was.
You didn't know her middle name?
Didn't know. No, not at all. We just hung out and some things happened. Okay? And
sexual things.
Okay,
y'all wasn't playing Scrabble.
We wasn't playing Scrabble.
Y'all wasn't playing Jenga?
We wasn't playing Tiddlywinks, maybe Tiddywinks. Oh, was that too far? Okay, anyway, we'll edit that out.
Probably.
Anyway, so some things happened, you know, and we hung out, you know, adults, whatever happened. All right, cool. Didn't talk a ton after that. And let me also say this: when I got out of rehab, my goal was to not date seriously for a year.
Yes.
So now I'm already in the mind state like if I date within a year, I'm probably gonna relapse and die.
Right.
Is what I've told myself. So we hang out. All right, cool. No harm, no foul.
Yeah.
Hung out, cool. Get a call from the young lady a couple months later. Bun cooking in the oven, and I ain't talking banana bread. You feel me? And I'm like, what? Like, so, long story short, not to even go into all it was a conversation as to what should be done.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we're really bearing our souls. We contemplated every option. Maybe
you. First of all, you're touching gracefully over some stuff.
Okay, well, then bring it in.
You know, I mean, just we hung out.
Okay, you're right. If we're gonna tell the story, let's tell the story.
I mean, we ain't dealing with 5-year-old. Okay. I mean, you ain't got to be grotesque, right. But I mean,
we had sexual relations,
unprotected, because DoBoy's mantra was what?
Condoms are for suckers.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. Why that's not true.
Right.
It used to be like, you know what condom is like? It's like eating a steak with a balloon on your tongue.
You can taste nothing.
And also, well, what if steak could give you AIDS? You might want to just deal with the balloon on your tongue.
You can also get hit by a truck. That's not how you do this.
So when he says hung out with a young lady, he means they made sweet, passionate fornication.
Hot 45 seconds of it because it had been a while.
Of love.
Right.
Making love. Okay.
And it was unprotected.
Unprotected. Amen.
Exactly.
Huh? Now, if you're going to make one choice to have sex outside of marriage, that's one choice.
It is one choice.
But to have unprotected sex outside of marriage with a woman you're not sure of her sexual history.
Don't know her.
She's never been tested. Or as far as you know. She doesn't know whether you've been tested.
We just out here just living.
And you just living reckless.
And that really opened my eyes about that. Because we all do that.
Listen, we all don't.
Hold on. So everybody not having just unsafe sex?
Never, even before I got married, I had never had unprotected sex.
Really?
Never. Wow. Never.
I don't know that I had ever had protected sex the first couple of years.
There's a lot of people who have a lot of protected sex who slip up here and there, and there's people like you who just be straight.
I started in the raw. It's hard to go back from
straight sushi, straight sashimi. But the thing that you're doing when you're having unprotected sex, you're doing a couple things. Mm-hmm. Okay, you are risking your health.
Yes,
literally your health, and you are risking bringing a child into this earth. Right. And the thing about unprotected sex, the STDs, there's some that are lifelong, and a child like the sex is generally, let's just say you had a great experience, it's less than an hour. The results of that decision,
lifelong.
Man, that I got 2 kids in the house, okay, on the other side of the house right now. Result of a decision I made on purpose,
right?
And it's still like, oh man,
they want to eat again.
They just won't stop growing.
They don't.
Now, it's hard to be a parent, and I'm in a committed relationship with my wife, and we are both raising 2 children in the home, and that's hard. Right. So to have a child potentially with someone you don't know that well, and even if you know them well, parenting is hard. Co-parenting is harder.
Right.
Being a single parent is even harder.
All of that.
So that's why.
And it's hard on the child.
Come on. You know? And that's the thing about parenthood. You are literally the basis for this person's outlook in life.
All of it.
The way you act and move that brings them into the world, how they navigate life. It's a lot of pressure, first of all.
Absolutely.
But you are literally responsible for the way they see the world at the beginning.
Absolutely.
And I feel like we as potential parents and as just humans, we should take that decision with a little more care than we often do.
Patrick Cloud I just wanted to say this just to piggyback on that point, then I'll get back to the story. Patrick Cloud was telling me a cool story. He said that he was watching an interview with this baseball player who I went to go talk to some people in the prison. And they were just like, how'd you get to become a baseball player, da-da-da. He was like, man, my dad, he used to just play catch with me, and my dad used to just be like, man, you're going to make it to the league one day. And I just believed it, and I made it. And he was speaking in the prison, and one of the guys that he was speaking to was like, man, my dad told me I was going to end up in prison. And here I am. Like, I wasn't nothing. I was going to end up in prison. Like, so these are 2 kids, 2 parents, 2 things that they told them, and they both happened. So it's very important.
That is super heavy.
For real. So to get back to the story, and I also want to touch this, because you also said that not only when you're having sex unprotected or just sex in general, but let's just keep it unprotected. You're dealing with the STD risk of a child. This is something that I learned in having sex. There's also a thing called soul ties that we don't even really be thinking about. And like a lot of times, like your mood be off. Like you don't understand. Like that's a very intimate act. That's another thing that's there.
You can't get any closer to a human being than to be inside of their body. Right. You are literally inside of their body. Yeah. Like if you're going to let I don't even let people in my door. People have rings, checks, like, oh, don't come in my house, but you come in my body, though. You can be inside.
I barely let people drink off me.
Be
inside?
I won't eat food that hit the floor for 5 seconds. But
I don't know that I believe that.
No, people are. But there's people out here who are like, oh, 5-second rule, that's gross. Unprotected sex? Sign me up. Sign me up.
So these are all the things that as a functioning, adult in my age should know. And of course I'm acting stupid. So fast forward, so now she's pregnant. She gives me a call. I'm pregnant. I'll just be honest. The thought initially was we was going to get rid of the child. That was
going to have an abortion.
Going to have an abortion. We're going to say the words. Because that's the thing. You can't be afraid of these things.
You dancing around.
Right. Okay. And the reason why is because we both knew, I still got this 1-year rule of a relationship. So I can't even start to do this with you as far as a relationship. And then also we know we're not together. Both not really where we're at. And like it's just, they're having a kid with a stranger essentially. Like I know her, but I don't know her. So, and that's what's tough on her as well. Because, and so, I don't believe in circumstances or coincidences, but for whatever reason, we actually were gonna do it.
Yeah, and I remember you telling me,
it's set for this day.
And also you were like this. To your credit, you were always like, that ain't really how I act.
Right. Yeah.
And the thing is, like where we work, and people our age, that is very common.
Right.
In people our age, and I was very surprised. You were just like, I'm not surprised, but you were like to make such a brash decision when you were like, she's pregnant. You were like, man, I ain't. She was feeling like she don't want to have an abortion, but that's not really my thing. Like I made the decision, and I'm okay dealing with it. And I was like, well, shout out to
absolutely.
Like,
and let me even expand on that a little bit, because kind of how it was when we were first talking, it was like, that's what she's saying to me. Like, this is how I feel about this situation. And at the time, because we don't even know each other like that, I'm like, okay, well, I can't tell you what to do. You're not asking me.
I remember you being like, look, you're telling me to do this. Right. I don't agree with it. I don't want you to do this. Right. But if that's what you want to do.
Actually, that was a little out of secret. So let me tell you how that actually happened. So we're talking and she's telling me. So at the time, I'm just like, because my opinion wasn't asked. Right. So I'm like, okay, well, is there anything that you need me to do? Like whatever, da-da-da. She's like, okay, I'm going to, whatever. Then whatever for reason, it doesn't happen.
Right.
Then she calls me back. And you're like, you know what? I realized I didn't even ask you what you thought about this.
Right.
Now I can go and do it at this point, but how do you feel about this?
Right.
You know me. I'm an honest person. I'm almost honest to a flaw. I'd rather, because I'm always like that. I'm like, I'd rather lose people with the truth than keep them with a lie.
Yeah.
I just don't do that. So she asked me, she said, well, what do you think? I said, look, I'm not into that.
Right.
I'm not into playing God.
Right.
I'm not, in no disrespect to anybody, whoever has made that decision, but me,
for
I don't do that.
ADB, Anthony DoBoy Belcher.
Junior, please.
Junior, ADBJ.
So I told her, I said, look, we sat down. I was man enough to sit down and do what I did with you. I'm man enough to do what's necessary.
Right.
To
raise a child.
To raise this child.
Yeah.
And so she was like, okay, well, let me give her some thought. She gave her some thought. She gave her some hard thought, because this is not an easy decision. You're talking about a life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So she gave me some thought. She gave me back. She was like, you know what? To be very, very honest with you, this was bothering me the whole time. And I didn't want to do it. I just didn't know how you were going to take this. I didn't want you feeling like I was coming after you for whatever, trying to trap you, whatever. I don't feel comfortable doing this either. So I'd rather just us have this child. Okay, so now we're having a child. So now we're setting the table of what the hospital.
So as far as you know, you are her partner during this time.
Partner.
This is your child, and here we go.
So
go ahead.
We go. So now we're setting it up. Now this becomes where the difficult part is, because she's a woman, she's pregnant, different emotions happen. You want the father of your child to be there,
right?
And in my mind, and then we also had that conversation. So when we had that conversation, I said, look, I'm not dating anybody for a year. With this whole sobriety thing that I got going on.
Hold on, I want to pause. How are you not dating but having sex is good?
That's the thing.
I'm not dating at all.
But can I do
sex
it?
I will do. Now, get to know you, not my thing. Random sex, I'll allow it.
I wasn't even trying to really have sex. And like, that's the thing. When I had sex,
hold on. When people say that, I wasn't even trying to do that. Did you slip and fall in some sex?
No,
like,
but it's just like when you're trying to eat healthy. Okay. And you eat a burger. It's like,
yeah, but I drive to Chick-fil-A.
And I drive to chicks' houses. It just happened.
I get it.
And girls be hollering, but that's neither story.
Man,
you know,
I see the handsomeness.
Come on, man.
The lighty brown eyes. Come on, man. Are those green? Are they light brown? I don't know.
So they be out there. So now at the time, now becomes difficult because, and then also when we talked, I said I'm not gonna date you for a year, so that's kind of off the table. And then like I don't, I'm not into trying to build that right now. But let's just. Not even.
You told her that before?
No, I told her after we knew that we're having this child. I told her straight up, like.
Was this before the sex or after?
Clearly after the sex. Once I know she's pregnant, I'm like.
Didn't you say I'm not really trying to date?
So I was trash for that. I was trash. I was trash. I was Mr. Bait and Switch. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to her. I apologize. So.
Have you apologized to her?
I have. She's a great woman.
And while we say this, yes, DoBoy. It was his idea to do this on the podcast.
It was very.
People were asking about it. He got her permission.
Got her to talk to her. She was all for it because she watches the podcast.
She watches the podcast and was like, "How about you tell the story live?" Which tells me she is absolutely certain.
Yes. Oh, she in her mind, this child is mine. Oh. But I don't know her like that, so I'm like, we're gonna test this baby. I just don't know you like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So. Fast forward, go through the whole pregnancy. Man. It wasn't really tough. Like we had a couple of arguments because of like whatever, but we made it through. So then fast forward to the here and the present. So this is where we're at. So now we make it through the through the whole pregnancy, whatever. And like this is where I was flawed, and this is where I would like to. This is where I feel like the lesson can start to be taught to people, and the reason why I was even speaking about the alcoholism. What alcoholism taught me is that you have to face the problems in your life in real time.
Right.
You can't wait for it. You can't self-medicate. You have to go at it when it happens because that's a recipe for disaster for me when I run away from things.
Yes.
So during this whole pregnancy, I was running away from it. Like I just wasn't acting like a man expecting a child.
Right.
I'm out there ripping and running. I'm dealing with other women, whatever I'm doing, I'm not acting like I'm not there to hold her, comfort her. What she would like, I'm not as present as I was when we made the child. I'm just, that's you, call me when, and I was trash for that. And I'm okay enough to say that.
Yes.
Because self-awareness is what can help you to change something.
And mind you were completely sober during this time.
Completely sober. So this wasn't a drunk decision.
You're just a trash individual at this point in your life.
Absolutely. This was a decision.
And I love you.
Yeah, but you got it. But you have to be able to own it. Yeah. Or you can't change it. So yes,
and I did good on you for apologizing and realizing the error of your ways.
Error of my way. So we go through the whole pregnancy without too many hiccups, and then we arrive to December 17th, and the baby is born. So that's why I had the hospital bracelet on. So mind you, this is what I really want to talk about. As a man going through a pregnancy, not 100% sure if the child is yours, I don't know that there is a more torturous experience.
Because you don't know. I don't know to be happy,
excited. I don't know if I can tell people. I don't want to be embarrassed if it's not mine.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the dude just to show up on the gram with a baby. Like what?
Yeah.
It's not like some J's. Like so. That's what I'm dealing. And it's very.
Baby, it's not like some J's.
And honestly,
I got the new Concords, 6 pounds 8 ounces out here. Gonna have them forever.
So that's what I'm dealing with the whole time, and I'm trying to stay glued because family situations are my number one trigger for alcohol, and I don't want to relapse.
Right.
My biggest thing is like I just don't want this to affect me enough. So maybe that's why I wasn't trying to face it, but that's not good either.
No.
You still got to face it. If the world is a swimming pool, you can't just duck your head under the water and think stuff gonna go away. You'll drown.
Right.
You get up and deal with it and start swimming. So we get there, and so now I'm being as supportive. She gives me a call. I go to see the baby born. I named her. She accepted that. Like I can't because I'm like, and so then the baby's born, and in the delivery room, I'm sitting there holding her leg, and I watched this child come out, and then when you hold a baby, you can't help but to fall in love with this child.
When my first son was born,
bruh,
you talk about. The Bible talks about God's unconditional love and all that. Not in all that, but it talks about that. And I never really grasped that because I don't love Melissa unconditionally.
Really?
Oh no. Melissa was to multiply cheat on me. Love gone.
Really?
Oh no, absolutely. because she could hurt me to the point where I could fall out of love with her.
Okay.
When your child is born, when Zay came out and JoJo came out, and you see them little lives who literally, if you put them down, they cannot feed themselves. They can't move. They can't even turn over. I was just like, man, that's my baby.
Right.
Like I had a part in creating this human life. And that was the first time I really felt unconditional. There's nothing on earth this baby could do that would make me not love them. I could be disappointed them, angry, upset, but to fall out of love with, forget it.
Yeah, and I feel the same way about Kiara. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when Kiara was born, and Kiara was like very, like, you know, because I grew up just in like a very, very strict like environment. So I was almost taught that like crying was like a weakness.
We were all taught
you know, and just like not to show emotion, and that made you soft. And I remember I had went like maybe like 11 years without crying. Just like I'd be at a funeral just like I was holding it in. And then when Kiara was born, I cried.
Hold on, why could you even cry at a funeral? Everybody's crying at a funeral.
Because I was raised in a very tough environment. Like you just gotta be tough. Like
Jesus.
What I thought, and I was internalizing.
You can't even cry at funerals?
Grandma.
You won't have a stroke.
I know. That's what I was doing to myself.
By the way, man, we gotta stop. You have to. We gotta start dealing with our feelings.
You have to.
Seeking a therapist. We can't go on like this.
And there's a stigma about mental health in the Black community. And it's just
because what ends up happening is you gonna die. Literally, you gonna die.
You will. And so going through, and that was another thing too about even just the whole situation being there. Just that's when I feel like it really started to hit me.
Yeah.
The gravity, like being in the delivery room, meeting her mother for the first time in the delivery. I felt like such a terrible man.
Right.
Like just like, Tony, you gotta be better than this. Like you could have made better decisions than to. I was ashamed. Like I didn't want nobody to know. I haven't made any announcements.
Right.
I was just in my shell. But then what changed me was sitting there holding her leg, and you know they're trying to get the baby out, and you know I think the umbilical cord got wrapped around her neck for a second, and it just really broke down in my head like, here is this child fighting to come in this world. She has to be created,
right?
And all she is going to be looking for is the love from her parents.
Yeah.
And I felt like I had robbed her mother that whole experience, and I just felt terrible.
Right.
And then my guilt started to kick in, and then I started to feel those feelings like when I drink, because then I'm like, I start to feel so inadequate. You start to be like,
it feels like the spotlights of life are on you. For real. That's the thing that men we deal with. My wife talks about this a lot. It's called the imposter syndrome, and it's like the feeling that you're going to be found out. Yes. Like I'm not who people think I am, and it feels like these lights are on me, and everybody knows, and I just want boom. I want to stuck my hand in the sand, so to speak, and that's definitely a thing men feel because we're supposed to provide. It's literally like we're wired to provide.
That we're supposed to do.
So you see this child breaking into the world, and I'm like, I ain't really even put that much thought into the decision that brought you to this point.
Exactly. And this whole time I've been running from it, like,
right.
And I felt so low, like, and that's why I know you are really my bro, because I didn't even tell you about this. I think the day after I was going through it, like I was just in my room and I was just like sitting there, and I cried because I was just like, man, like, because I'll talk about that, but this is the part I want to tell you. So I was just super sad. I was like, I cried for a second, and then you text me out the blue like, yo, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, man, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, that's just the bond that we had brothers have. Like, again. Like you just, yeah, I'm good.
In your own room by yourself?
Start cleaning the gun. Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine. Put on some Timbs and start playing DMX. Where my dogs? I'm hurting. So
you just punch a stranger. What's up? What you looking at?
Move, lady. Okay, so that's the thing. So I appreciate that. But going back through the to the delivery room. So now I'm just hit with a bunch of emotions. I'm like, I love this child. I want this child to be mine. Yeah. I want to raise her. She's like such and I seen her eyes and just. So then now comes the difficult part of, I don't know that I've ever done anything that was more difficult than waiting for family and doctors to clear a room to put a Q-tip thing in my 4-hour-old daughter's mouth to swab her cheek to get a DNA sample. Like I felt like I had failed.
Yeah.
I felt like I had become disconnected from who I truly am.
Right.
And that's another way that I felt when we were making the decision on what we were going to do. Because when I started like thinking about why I didn't want to have a baby, it was some of the selfish things I've said in my life. Like, oh, ain't no girl going to want to do with 2 kids and a newborn, and I ain't even where I'm at with my, like, I've never felt so selfish.
Right.
And I felt that in that room, like having to, she's 4 hours old and I'm swabbing her cheek for 30 seconds, 4 separate times.
Right.
Like that changed me inherently, no matter what comes from this test. Like I just have to move different. So that brings us to where we're at. That brings us to the moment of truth. The reason why I had this bracelet on is because I went to go watch the birth. Now we need to find out if she is my child. And I waited. I've had these results for about 2 hours now, and I did not open them because I did not want my reaction to be disingenuous or forced. I just wanted it to be real, and whatever it is. Now, mind you, let's just weigh it out. What it's going to be either way.
Well, the thing is, I want to say this. DoBoy was adamant about doing it like this. I was like, are you sure? You could easily just check and we could still tell the story. Right. But he wanted to make sure people knew about what happens when you make choices like he made.
Right.
So that hopefully somebody younger than him who hasn't made that choice, if you're thinking about having unprotected sex, realize that what you're trading for this feeling is this anguish and pain,
hurt.
So realize that there's consequences to every choice you make, but the consequences for unprotected sex can be life changing
and life altering, and they play just more than physical components of your life. Like this is something, family is something that's tied directly to my alcoholism, which is a thing that can kill me.
Going to the gym or not this morning, in the grand scheme of things, probably doesn't affect my life choice. And the amount of time I'm in the gym is the amount of time you're in the bed. But that result of one day, whatever I didn't lose today.
I was probably in the bed a lot less time than you were in the gym. It was a hot 90 seconds. I'm not going to hold you. It wasn't a ton of time, but I feel you.
Yes.
But,
so now we're here at the moment of truth.
Moment of truth.
DoBoy has the results.
But let's weigh out either way.
What do you mean?
That's what, in being able to face your feelings, you have to be able to know. You have to be able to look at every situation.
So how do you feel if this child is not yours?
If the child is not mine, I'm going to be hurt.
Okay.
Because I want her to be mine. I have grown an attachment to her. I have named this child. I've looked in this child's eyes when she was moments old, and I love her, regardless if she's mine or not. So I will be hurt. I will have to find creative ways to deal with that hurt to make sure that I don't go back to self-medicating, drinking. You might get a call at 2:00 in the morning tonight.
No, I don't. I better not.
You might.
You better deal with
this. If the baby's not mine and I'm crying.
Oh, I thought you meant because you were drunk.
No, I'm saying that you might get. You're one of 3 people on my kill switch list that, if it all goes bad and I have a drink in my hand, I made a promise to myself that I would call and talk to one of the 3 people. You're one. Got it. So
call me at 8 though. 2 a.m. is tough.
Would you rather me call you? Do you rather we call you at 2:00 in the morning? Sober or 6:00 in the morning drunk?
My phone's on do not disturb. I'm gonna take it off do not disturb.
At least for 72 hours.
I'm gonna take it off do not disturb.
So if it's not mine, I'm going to be hurt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be devastated. That's gonna be it. The baby is mine. I'm going to be very, very happy.
Oh, I seen you light up.
I've seen her little face, her little nose, her little baby, and I want to be able to change the narrative that was happening before. And that's another thing I want to say to people too, is like, just because you make a mistake, don't mean you got to make another mistake to correct your mistake. Yeah. You can make a mistake and just be like, okay, I messed up, own it.
Right.
All right, what do I need to do to fix this? So that's where we are at now. And the results either way, we gon' well, either way. But
so how do you want to do this? Do you want to look? Do you want me to look?
I would rather you look.
But is that not facing your feelings?
No, this is just this is facing it because I'm about to hit it.
My heart is beating. Okay. And I no matter what happens, it don't affect me personally. I mean, the baby's not coming to live in my house. It affects me because it's going to affect you.
Right. Okay, so this the one that says DDC. Shout out to DDC DNA test. The same people that test on the Maury Show. Should we pray for her? I think we should pray before we do this. You should pray because you pray better than me. God be listening to you more than
prayers. Just better, and we don't have to interlock.
I want to hold no.
We don't have to interlock.
Why can't we interlock?
We can hold hands. We don't have to interlock.
You don't want to do the interlock?
No, just hold. We can hold.
Why are you? We're gonna talk about it. Why are you against interlocking your fingers?
First of all, your hands are sweaty.
Oh, yeah.
Just palm to palm is the man way.
Right, man, come on.
Now let me be on the top.
Why is that a thing?
I don't know. It's the power position.
Okay.
All right.
Come on.
Father God, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this day, God. We thank you for this opportunity to learn about ourselves, God, to learn about life and choices and making the right decisions and the results of the consequences of our actions, God. We just pray that whatever the results of this test are, that the child in question receives the best life possible, and that Doe and the mother continue to use this moment as an opportunity to make better life choices either way. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Okay. Your phone's locked. It was terrible timing.
Are you serious?
It locked during the prayer. Oh, it's terrible. I know. All right. Okay. Okay, the results aren't actually in this email. You have to click a link and...
Are you serious?
You have to click a link. There's a username.
Come on, Mr. Producer. Come on. You didn't.
I never have done this before.
Oh, come on, Kevin. Don't say it like Maury. Don't say the case of Jay Dog. I just don't want this to feel like a Jerry Springer for. Just say, don't say in the case of 3-day-old Jada. Okay. That just sounds real Maury Povich, Jerry Springerish.
Okay. Do you know the username?
Are you kidding me?
There's a whole username thing. Pull up the email on your laptop. I'm so sorry.
Come in.
I've never done
this. Come in.
Okay.
Okay. We should have prepped it. I just knew that
there's a user. It's a whole thing.
Okay.
You were so afraid to open it, you didn't even check.
This is the worst reveal ever.
Okay. Find the original email.
Okay. Wait. Okay. What, they want me to do another rewrite? Okay. Let me just find this. Okay. Jeez. Okay. I might just have to end up reading it the way you do it.
I know this. You can't blame me.
Stupido. Hold on a second. Where is it at?
It's gonna be unread now.
Where is it? Oh, this is the worst.
Where's the first email you got from them?
That's what, because I'm not in the right inbox.
Come on, get in the right inbox.
Okay. What the?
A few moments later, I'll chop some of this out.
Okay, absolutely. Okay. Where? Okay, I'm in the right email. Okay.
No, it's...
Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. There we go. So you have to update.
If you don't want me to do the Maury thing, what do you want me to say?
Just say like, Doe, just say it like a cool Kevin way.
Okay.
Okay, so case information. Okay, well, no. Case information. Right? Okay.
All right.
Just type it down in the notes. Is that the...
I got it. Okay. 4298. 4298. All right, here we go.
Okay.
All I can think of is the Maury way.
Jeez. Okay, do whatever you got to do. At this point, I want to punch you if you don't tell me. Okay, here we go. All right. Come on, Kevin.
Okay, it's opening.
Kevin!
Okay. All right.
Do you have the information?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
The DNA test report is in. Child, you are the alleged father. It says the interpretation, the probability of paternity for this child is 0%.
It's not mine?
It's not.
Are you for real?
I'm dead serious.
You're kidding me.
0%. Oh my God. The alleged father is excluded as the biological father of the tested child. This conclusion is based on the non-matching alleles observed at the loci listed above with the PI equal to 0. The alleged father lacks the genetic markers. I'm only laughing because I'm so nervous. It's a defense mechanism. The alleged father lacks the genetic markers that must be contributed to the child by the biological father. The probability of paternity is 0%.
Now that's a lot to unpack.
Oh my God.
We were looking at the picture. This is my baby. I don't even know how I just
knew that it was your child. I knew it. She must have known it because she allows you to do this.
And in her defense, let me put my and we still
man.
Read it again, Kevin. Run it again. Are you serious?
Combined paternity index 0. Probability of paternity 0%. They have all these allele sizes and locus.
Okay. So, hey, okay. So, are you sure that you're reading this right? Don't read this wrong.
I'm not.
You better know.
Read it. The alleged father is excluded as the biological father of the tested child. This conclusion is based on the non-matching alleles observed at the loci listed above with a PI equal to 0. The alleged father lacks the genetic markers that must be contributed to the child by the biological father. The probability of paternity is 0%. You see it? Look. I what are you thinking?
I think tonight's gonna be a very, very important night for me in my sobriety. I might go to an AA meeting because sometimes how I mask pain is smiling.
Right.
I feel devastated and like my hand is shaking, and I think that's my natural disposition to pain.
Yes.
I not only feel pain for myself, I feel pain for her mother.
Mm-hmm.
I feel pain for her. I feel pain for everybody involved in this situation. It's not a laughing matter. It's not something that's funny to me. And I feel like I indirectly, I don't know how I feel, but I know that I'm glad that I know. I'm glad that I took the time to figure it out now and not wait. It's going to be a lot to
unpack.
A lot to unpack, but you know, this is what we do.
My phone's on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah.
And you do know that.
And I'm gonna have to. And this is why poor decisions should be avoided at all costs. Mm-hmm. Because now I have to face this now. Like this is something that I have to. I don't know how to deal with that.
Right.
I'm gonna have to pray it out. I'm gonna have to. You know, I want kids. Like I'm like.
I think you had accepted.
I was ready to.
You had accepted.
I was ready to start DoBaby. Like,
right.
You know,
you had
YouTube.
Accepted your place in the whole thing.
I was okay.
Yes.
With whatever it was.
Man.
How do you feel about this, Kevin?
I'm gonna be honest. Because you're my boy. I'm gonna be honest. I feel bad for you that you did not get the expected result. But at the same time, I'm happy for you because you have another chance to make good decisions. Yeah. You have a chance to meet the woman of your dreams and know that you are planning a pregnancy and a child, and to know without a shadow of a doubt, like that was an amazing feeling. And I'm not trying to gloat. Like, when Liz was pregnant, I was like, I was there. I was going to appointments. That wasn't a thing that I was concerned with. And when Zay was born, it was, you know what I mean? There's that certainty felt great. Same thing with Joe. And I know how you are. You know, you come from the mean streets of Sacramento, but you ain't tough. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. I mean, you would have loved to have, so I think, you now have another chance, just like you did with sobriety. You have another chance to do this the right way, because to be honest, that the girl lives far. It's expensive. There's a lot of things. I don't mean to be callous.
Right,
I'm just giving you my honest feeling.
You're giving me a scope of the situation.
Yes.
You're just giving me the fact.
It sucks, but in some ways you dodged a bullet. The children are a lifetime, not just 18 years. I'm 35. I'm still my mom's middle child. And in some ways she don't look at me like I'm 35. I'm still 5. You know what I'm saying? So children are a long time decision that should be made with care.
Yeah.
So now you have your Kiara, and you have your next, because I know you want more kids.
I do.
You have an opportunity to make that decision the right way.
And you know what? And like, cause I just felt like for a second, like I was gonna like get all emotional and start crying, but I really
and that's
feel
okay if you do.
All right,
I will not judge you. I'm your friend. I'm here.
No, we got to put the thing.
No,
on my
I'm
face
not gonna let it blur. We ain't gonna listen, man. We off that. Men gotta be tough all the time. We don't go through pain. We off that. If you need to cry and we need to cut the camera off so you can cry, I will hold you. And you can heave.
What I feel very at the moment is proud of myself for being accountable either way it go.
Right.
Either way it go. And I don't hold no ill will towards her mother.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I know that there's no way. Like I feel more for her than anybody. Like, you know, because she knew without a shadow of a doubt,
right,
that this was it. And I feel like this whole situation has taught me.
Yeah.
I don't really receive losses no more. It's all lessons. Like there was a reason this happened. There's a reason why I had to get drugged through this. Maybe to see the severity and to know that you playing with your life, bro.
If you are whatever age you are, right, and you're a young man or a young woman, you're listening to this. Maybe you came here from All Deaf because you follow us and you haven't had to go through this. Bruh, this ain't no walk in the park. This is life. This is bringing in a new life, or at the very worst, altering your life. Even a sexually transmitted disease alters your life, especially if it's one of the more serious or incurable ones. You know what I'm saying? So this is not a decision that you should make lightly. And you did that. And that's why you're in this situation. This is not shading you. I'm just saying. So if you're listening and you are thinking about that, nobody ever thinks about this moment. You think about what's about to happen in 5 minutes and what I want to feel in 5 minutes. You're not thinking about what you were going to feel in 9 months or a year. God forbid the baby's sickly or whatever, anything. Nobody's ever thinking that far down the line. We're very thinking in the moment, but every decision has consequences, positive or negative, and your life is the result of the consequences of your decisions, good or bad.
You cannot outrun karma either way.
Listen, you can't outrun your own feet. That's from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
What are you?
But he had made some stick-on shoes, and he
couldn't outright.
He said that though. He had made some stick-on shoes, and he couldn't get them off. And he said nobody can outrun their own feet, and that's so true because your feet are attached to you, and you are attached to your life and your decisions. So listen,
listen. I'm glad I shared this with you, and I don't regret any of it. I don't regret any moment of it. I feel like the world is a better place with Jada Reagan in the here. And I feel like that's dope. And we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. Like I really feel that in my spirit. I feel like, like I've just been prepped too much for the moment to crumple underneath it. I know this is just teaching me, like, you got to confront it. Go find out, figure it out, and then deal with it. Like, this was the worst case scenario for me. I let myself feel that. I'm going to let myself feel it for however long it takes to feel it. Right. I'm gonna hurt over this. I may cry, shed a tear. That's all right. That's okay. But because I'm confronting how I feel about it, and I definitely want to employ this not just to the young people, just to the any people out there, like that. And that is the reason I wanted to be transparent about this, because I feel like we all cripple ourselves acting like we know what we're doing, and we don't. Like, it's okay to just be honest about what's going on. And if I got it, they say that smart people learn from their own mistakes, brilliant people learn from other people's mistakes. Just be able to say, like, I see this dude and he did that. Like, I don't want to be like, this is real anguish. Like, I'm keeping it tough. Like, I'm being like, this hurts.
He gonna cry in the car.
Absolutely. And and I'm gonna have to deal with this, and I'm gonna have to wear this because I got to be accountable for whatever I do. So just make sure you are making better decisions there, so you don't have to deal with what it is later. Yes. That's the reason why I wanted to be honest about it and have that honest conversation. And I'm happy that I know it. This has been over my head for 7-8 months. Yeah. And I feel better.
And that drive home gonna be blurry.
You're
gonna need windshield wipers over your eyes.
But that's what we do here at Righteous and Ratchet.
Our
we
life
tell the
is
truth.
a testimony, and there's ministry in transparency.
Yes.
And I'm glad y'all were here to listen to the mental anguish that DoBoy's been through.
Woo.
And I'm here for you. I love you.
You know I love you back. And we
thank
love all y'all
listening.
out there.
Woo!
Please, if you do nothing else for us, just share the video, like it, comment,
rate the podcast so we can stay in the top 2.
And this is gonna be the first episode of 2019. So that's how we're kicking
New
this
Year.
off. Happy New Year.
New Year, new me. For you needs to be good decisions.
Every day. All
for
good
me
decisions.
Too, shoot.
Exactly. Like
all of us.
You don't need to be eating spaghetti for breakfast. What are you doing? Huh? I came over the other day. He was eating a spaghetti taco. I'm like, who eats spaghetti tacos? But we lit out here. Righteous and Ratchet, please hop in the comments. Let us know what you thought of the episode. Did it help you? Did it help you get through something? We hope that it did. That's why we did it. And let us know your questions. If you got any questions for us, you want them answered, go to IamDoBoyTV@gmail. That's DOBOY for Doughboy. We love you all. I have been Doughboy.
I've been Kev on stage. We'll see you next week.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.